Hey, it's Brett here. Had a couple conversations today that kind of brought me to this piece I want to kind of put together here, just in regards to, I guess, leadership, for lack of a better way to describe it. But it's interesting because everybody wants to be put in a leadership type role, but people don't want the responsibilities to go along with it many times. And you transition from a situation of just doing a task or managing a process to actually leading people. Anytime people obviously involved with, there's a lot more variables to it, therefore a lot more challenges that kind of come along with it. So kind of a few things from a person that goes in a leadership role where you spend more of your time around people at that point and having conversations with people and digging into people a little bit more, investing into people and holding people accountable. Like, understand this, your job is not to get tasks done. Your job is to get further into these people day after day after day, build a better relationship with them, create more accountability with them in a way where it empowers them, not defeats them at that point. And I think it's critical to understand that, because it's so hard for people to transition from here's my job of what I do to here's my job as a leader of who I lead and how I help them move in a better direction, help them do more over the course of time. So understand that the people that are around you, the people you lead, are your number one priority. It's not a task anymore at that point. It's what you signed up for when you said you want to be in that type of role. And one of the big things with leading people, like kind of point number 1%, you got to be present with them. But that is simply mean like you have to read them. You have to understand where their head's actually at and not be so consumed by the emotions of the situation per se, or distracted by another situation that's happening over here. Like when there's somebody in front of you, you got to be there with them at that point. They're there because they have a question, a concern. They may not even be able to voice that, but you got to be able to dig in and reach that and figure out what that exactly is. Or if you notice somebody's just off, pull them aside, start having that conversation with them at that point. Find out where it's at. You're investing in them when you take the time to be able to do something like that. So being present with them. Don't get distracted by all the crap that goes on around you or around them. Like, your focus is them. Like, when you walk away from that conversation, if somebody asks, like, you know what, how is Bob's emotional state right now? You should be able to pretty much tell. Where's Bob's focus at right now? You should be able to tell that as well, too. Where's Bob's priorities at? You should be able to tell that because you're so present with them. You're worried about them, not yourself at that point. The second piece on there kind of goes back to the emotional piece. Like, you've got to be able to detach the emotion from the situation. And trust me, this is the hardest part about the entire thing, is that we as people, we live and die off emotions. And those emotions dictate a lot of our behaviors that we move forward with at that point. If you're in a conversation with somebody, they say something that upsets you, your ability to swallow that and not let that then dictate your response, your reaction towards them, that allows you to be, like we talked about, present before. It allows you to have further that conversation with that individual, hopefully find a resolution to it. The minute you escalate the emotions of something, that you take them down the path of no return, you're screwed at that point. What you're doing ultimately at the end of the day is you're helping them dig through their emotions so that they can find a proper solution to it themselves. And when you convolute it with your emotions, or you're spreading more of the fire to more people and talking about the situation and escalating all over the place, now you've created a small problem. You've created a massive problem for a whole bunch of people at that point. You've lost at that point in time of the game. As a leader, you failed at that point. So understand this. Your ability to control and dictate your emotions and choose how you respond, not how you react, is the critical piece of allowing you to actually be effective with those people that you're leading with them. And really the next thing with this is, with people, you've got to be able to pull out the solutions out of them. It's not telling them what to do. And in some cases, trust me, there's times where you're going to have to literally be able to tell them exactly what process you're going to take them through or which direction they need to go. But the most effective way is when you actually sit there and you can ask the questions you need to ask to help them find the solution that they already know that's in there. You can help lead them a little bit, but let them discover. That's empowering over a course of time versus just telling them what to do. There's no power in that. They feel secondary to that. They themselves never going to take a step forward. So understand that, like, the questions you ask is going to get you ultimately the outcome that you're looking for. This takes practice over a period of time. You got to get good at it. But again, that's if you're present with people, you get your emotions out of it. Now you're able to ask those questions that are more effectively take you to a path and find a resolution. Not you, but them at that point. So that's critical. The last piece to this as well too is accountability. And you're going to have a ton of conversations with people. People are going to tell you what you want to hear. You're going to agree upon something. You're going to find a path to move forward with it, but you got to help create accountability with it. When you see them deviating from what it is that you guys discussed or the direction at which you both chose to move forward. Again, it's a choice. You're choosing at the end of a conversation of what's the next step? Where are we moving at that point? If they can't continue down that path, you have to create accountability. And it's not telling them you're wrong, or scolding them. It's helping them see those blind spots. It's helping them see those gaps that they're maybe missing that are not allowing them to ultimately, like I said, take those steps. Because we as humans move the path of least resistance. You have to have forced accountability until a person can create self-accountability themselves. Accountability is a habit. If you haven't flexed the muscle a whole lot, the muscle's weak. Most people who are new in some of these circumstances, they're not going to be able to flex it. Your job is to help them see the spots where they got to practice this, where they feel like they're going to cave or they back off, they go the wrong direction. Help them see it and ask them, hey, you know what? What else could we do in this circumstance? What's the other way we could approach this in this situation? Hey, you know what? What we talked about last week was this. We decided we're going to go this way. What happened between now and then that's caused us to deviate from that path on there? Help them create accountability for themselves by forcing that accountability on them. And again, a helpful and empowering way. Let them figure out the solution. Let them show them awareness of it, but let them take the step forward at that point. So again, these are all leadership things that whether we realize it or not, when we get into that role, and it's not something you're necessarily placed in, you earn a leadership role by your ability to handle people. We get better with it over time. We get better with it with practice as time goes on with it. So look at these tough, difficult situations. Get better with your communication. Get better at being present with people. Get better at helping them find a solution for it. After a while, it becomes second nature. It's going to feel like you're eating with your left hand for a long period of time because it's awkward sometimes. You're going to get stuck. You're going to feel frustrated with it. It's part of the process to it. So again, spend the time, dig in with people, develop some of those, again, I hate the word, but like leadership skills per se, but it's exactly what it is. It's no different than learning another skill. You got to be specific with it and practice it over a period of time. You're going to win with it.